Okay, so I'm here with another reaction video, and this is for a video called Dating Women Made Me Understand Men. It's clearly by a bisexual woman who has dated a few women and now understands what men go through. So let's have a look.
So as you may remember, I came out as bisexual last year, and since then I have been dating women. And what I found very fascinating is that the more I date women, the more I find myself understanding heterosexual men. Let me explain. Exhibit A. I was on a first date with a girl who asked me out, by the way, this is relevant, because when the check came, she never once made a move to pay. Not even like the fake, let me reach for my purse move. And though I don't mind paying on a date, part of me felt like, the offer would have been nice. I was also a little taken aback that she didn't even say thank you. And I never heard from her again. It really made me feel like she just asked me out so she could have a free dinner. And the moment I thought that, I was like, oh my God, I sound like all of my guy friends right now. And my argument against why guys should pay for dates has always been like, look, girls take hours to get ready. Our investment is looking really nice for you. Makeup, clothes, that costs money too. But we were both girls in this situation. We both took hours to get ready, so I definitely felt slighted.
Here's the thing, something I find quite interesting about let's say gay dating dynamics is that, well, with regards to general dating, heterosexual dating, obviously the man is usually supposed to pay more often than not, right? That is the socially defined thing. Also, if most women are going to keep it a buck, it's like there are certain advantages that come with being female. One of those advantages is not having to pay for dates. And women will, as this woman did here, use having to get ready for the man as an excuse as to why she shouldn't pay for the date, when the man also has to get ready and also has to look his best. And he's also the one who did all of the effort to make the date happen. He's the one who's decided where the date's going to be, blah, 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 blah. But anyway, either way, the point is this. So when you've got two women together, who's actually the woman in this scenario? Who's actually the woman? And it's just interesting to actually see, because her date was like, well, I'm the woman. And she's like, yeah, but I kind of want to be a woman too. And that's just very fascinating. And she said she felt like this woman just asked her out for a date purely for a free lunch. A lot of women actually do that. If we're just going to keep it all the way 100, there are certain women out there who, there are men that they're attracted to, and the men that they're attracted to, they go out on the date because they're on the date and they're intrigued about this man and they want a piece of that man. They want to, they want a bit of this. But there's also other women who, or the same woman even, who there's other men who they like to a degree but not enough. But you know what? It's a Thursday evening, they're a little bit bored, they would like to go out to a restaurant, they'd like to have a few drinks, they'd like to get a little bit tipsy. The man's nice company, he's going to buy them food, they can take pictures to post on their social media, which aren't going to feature the man in any way, shape or form. He ain't going to be anywhere near these pictures, but the pictures will be there, and they'll get to show off to their friends and former colleagues and people they went to uni with that they're at this nice luxurious location. But do they have any intention of getting with that guy? No, they don't. No, they don't. And then for men, it's like this, like one issue men have, or one challenge men face is, how do you become the man number one who she's actually wants a bit of this with, rather than man number two who she's basically just using for a free meal? I've done all sorts of videos about this, and I suppose I'll do more in future, but effectively it's like this. If you act like a wimp, if you act like a pussy, if you act like a nice, vanilla, sweet guy who doesn't stand in his own power, yeah, you're gonna be guy number two as opposed to guy number one. If you act like you don't even realize she has female body parts that you might want to interact with, and you don't even realize that you have male body parts she might want inside her, if you act like that, you're basically gonna be guy. If you don't act like that, if you do not act like you are aware that you're a man and she's a woman, you're going to be guy number two. But then as a man, it's like, well, how do you be guy number one in a way that doesn't scare women or make you seem weird or creepy or things like this? And again, there's all sorts of videos that we could do about that, but it's about you very subtly, and you look for instances when it's like acceptable to slightly sexualize things, slightly, and then you check to see if she's okay with it, and if she's okay with it, you might continue. If she isn't, then you slide back. But for instance, like if you're talking to a woman on a dating app, or like you've swapped numbers or something, at some point, you might want to say something like, oh, you bring those cute legs and I'll bring the personality, when referring to your date, you know? Wear something tight so I can check out your butt while you're not looking. But you're not going to do that all the time. You're going to have all sorts of other conversations about other things, but you will throw in little things in there that just remind her that you're a man and she's a woman. And nice guys don't do that. And the guys that are too afraid to do that are usually the ones that get used for the free meals, etc.
Exhibit B. On another date, I went back to a girl's house and I ended up making friends with her cat. That's not a pun. I'm talking about her literal, actual animal. And she said, wow, my cat never likes anyone. I better go out and buy a wedding dress. And again, I felt like I got some serious perspective. I have been guilty of making these kinds of jokes on dates with men. I never really thought anything of it. I was just being silly. But then when I was on the receiving end of it, I suddenly understood the panic. And finally, Exhibit C.
You know what? Maybe it's me, the women I've personally dealt with, or the women my clients have dealt with, or the women that men I've spoken to have dealt with, but I've never come across this. I've never had a client joke to me about women saying they want to get married really early. I've never had that. I've never had clients say like these women are too clingy, no. And no woman's ever really made that joke with me either. So I don't really know what to say about that really. But, you know, I guess I do see how that could be scary or intimidating or something like that. But not something I've really come across. Not like, oh, this is a first or second date and like, my God, she's getting so clingy. Oh, no, it happened once. It did happen once. But not enough that I would care to make a video about it. And I've never had anybody, clients, friends or whatever, say to me that that's happened to them either.
One girl invited me back into her house, and her specific words were, do you want to come in and make out? Obviously, I'm like, yeah, you're really pretty. I want to press my face to yours. But then when we got there, we both just sat on the couch and she talked till like 3 a.m. And I was like, yo girl, I gotta wake up at like 6 a.m. I was told there would be kisses here. There are no kisses. And like, look, I don't want to sound like an asshole. Like, I don't mind talking. I love talking. But she could have said, do you want to come in and just talk? And I would have had totally different expectations for the evening. You know, finally I started falling asleep and I was like, hey, I gotta go. And I gave her one kiss and left. And I felt sad that the amount of kisses promised did not equal the amount of kisses delivered. And once again, I felt like a dude who was upset that I did not receive the expected physical kisses I was promised. And I wanted to talk about this because I felt like this has really been expanding my perspective when it comes to dating. I finally understand a lot of the complaints my male friends have about dating that I admit I would usually dismiss. But now I really get it when they say, dating is just so expensive, man.
Sometimes I feel like a girl doesn't even like me for me.
So here's what's interesting about this. So what she doesn't realize is that she could have done everything that girl didn't do. So it's like, what's one thing that women want in a relationship or a dating or sexual type of thing? They want the man to make the first move, right? They want to feel like they're being led through an experience, that they're being swept up by his strong, dominant, grounded, masculine energy. They don't want to have to take the risks. They don't want to have to make the first moves. They just want to accept or reject the things that are presented to them. However, that's not the male experience, is it? The male experience is that you have to take the risks, that you have to make the first moves, because if you don't, nothing's going to happen. But then she's there with this girl, and this girl, what she doesn't realize is that this girl saying, hey, do you want to come in and make out? Men don't hear that. It's like, in all of the years that I've been dating, right, all the years, and all the women with whom I've fornicated, or all of the men that I've coached in order to increase their abilities to find women with whom they are able to fornicate, all of that. You know how many times I've actually had a woman verbalize to me, hey, would you like to do something physical with me? I can think of one time when it was actually said. I'm not saying one time we did something physical. I'm saying one time it was said. Women do not say these things. They just drop hints and they hope that you will pick up on the hint. Or they don't even drop any hints and they're just in the mood for it and they just go, all right, well, if he wants to do it, he's going to do it. I'm just going to wait till he does it. This woman here got as big of a sign as you're ever going to get from a woman who said, do you want to make out? But here's the thing. So she thought to herself, well, she said, do you want to make out? So she's going to make out with me. But the woman didn't make out with her. And I suspect that from the perspective of the woman who invited her to make out, well, she's like, well, yo, I've freaking told you that I want to make out with you. So now you do something. Right, you do something. Why do I have to do everything? Why have I got to be the one to put my neck out there? Why do I have to do that? So they're sitting there for hour after hour after hour, and both one is expecting the other one to take the initiative and be the man. And then she feels frustrated because she had something that was literally promised and she didn't get it, which is kind of intriguing. But just for the record, like any guys are watching, it's like, number one, how many times has a woman directly said to you, hey, let's do something physical? It almost never happens. Number two, you see how she was sitting there for hour after hour after hour after hour and nothing happened? That's what will happen to you if you're not making the first moves. Number three, I say this to my clients all the time, but you have a maximum, and I say maximum. I'm not saying you have this amount. I'm saying you have an absolute maximum of 3 dates with no sexual tension before a woman says to you she isn't feeling it and she just wants to be friends. 3 maximum. All right, let me say this again. Max. It will probably happen after the first one. Okay, really and truly, I'm going to say 2, but it is possible you can get to a third one. It is. But the point is this. You're on a date with a woman. Why is she there on this date with you? She's on this date with you because she sees you as a potential sex partner. If she did not see you as that, she would not be on a date with you. You would be two friends meeting for platonic coffee or going to the movies or doing whatever. The fact that it's now called a date means that in some way she is thinking about sucking on parts of you and having parts of you inside her. That is the truth now. But the thing is this. If she leaves that date not feeling like you're that kind of person, now you get friend zoned. Now you do. So then how do you create that feeling? Well, there needs to be a sexual kind of vibe. So you need to be flirting with her. There needs to be like energy, the way you guys look at each other, as well as like you're obviously having fun. That's just kind of a given. And laughter and jokes, that's great. That's a given. But are you leading? Do you challenge her? Do you flirt with her? Do you tease her playfully? Is there sexual innuendo? Not too much so that you creep her out, or is there some there to like have a little bit of a spice and a spark? Do you make the first moves? Are you guys even touching? Because a great way for there to be a sexual vibe is physical contact. Are you guys even touching? Or are you sitting at a respectable distance from each other at all times? When you go back to her place or she comes back to yours, do you make the first move? Because like, here's the thing. She's on this date with this girl, right? And they're just sitting there talking. And they're sitting there and talking. I don't know what choice she made about this woman after that, but I'll tell you this. If she was on a date with a man who did that, she would leave that day and she'd be like, I don't think I'm ever going to see this guy again. Nah, because I'm just not feeling it. He's got 2 dates max. And then she's just going to drop the whole thing. He's got to make a freaking move. But yeah. So men, you need to make a move. And again, it's just really interesting when a woman who's used to being a woman starts dating other women who are also used to being women. And then it's like, well, who's the woman and who's the man? Like, hey, yo, you invited me for kisses. I'm here for kisses. Why aren't you kissing me? And in all the time she's wondering why this woman hasn't kissed her, she hasn't actually kissed the woman. She hasn't even considered that she could kiss the woman. That thought did not enter her mind at all. But, you know, this ain't shade. This ain't shade. I ain't starting internet beef. It's just an interesting observation.
She doesn't even like me for me. She just wants, like, a boyfriend.
I wish it were more socially expected to go Dutch on the first few dates, but you're like a jerk if you even suggest it.
And any experience that expands your compassion and understanding is one that I think is worthy of sharing. So what about you? Have you had any experiences that have shifted your viewpoint dramatically? Let me know. I'm 𝗂𝗂, and thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video.
Okay, I did not realize I was actually at the end of the video, but I am at the end of the video. And what do I have to say? Number one, I applaud this girl for having the honesty to be honest, really, because men do go through a lot in dating. And the truth is this, I read an article on Medium where this woman said, and it was written by a woman, she said, women are poorer online dating because they lack social skills. And then in the comments, there were people like, oh my God, how the hell could you say that? Oh my God, but this is the thing. This is basically what she meant. It's like, when you are a woman, like, okay, let's say this, when you're a man, how does a man get into bed with a woman? By using skill, okay? Different men have different degrees of skill, but we use skill to get women into bed. And what do you mean by skill? It's like jokes, making her feel comfortable. You make her feel comfortable. You make her laugh. Do you know how hard it is to make another human being laugh? To like invoke good emotions within another human being. You make her feel trusted. You make her feel turned on, but not so turned on that she feels like a whore. And you're not so sexual that she feels uncomfortable. All these sorts of things, right? You navigate around the fact that she doesn't trust you because you're a man. Because you're a man. And you know, there's the whole man versus bear. Apparently, there's a damn good chance you're more dangerous than a bear. Apparently. So you have to navigate that as well. But of course, if you're too soft, then she friend zones you. So you have to be dangerous enough so she feels like you're a man she can submit to, but not so dangerous that she feels like you might tear her to pieces, worse than the aforementioned bear. The point is, we do all of this kind of stuff. And what do women really do in dating? Come on, let's just keep it a buck. What women do in dating is they present the most physically appealing version of themselves, and they are pleasant. And then outside of being physically appealing and pleasant, they accept or reject the various things that we do. Like, I like this, I don't like this, I like this, I don't like that. The point is that doesn't really build social skills, does it? Does it mean women don't have the ability to build social skills? No, but it means that when it comes to dating, women don't really use them. And what I'm seeing there in this woman's experiences is kind of what I mean, because if we take like the whole her having sex with this woman on the date thing, or even just kissing a woman on the date thing, she did not know how to turn that into a sexual scenario. She didn't know what to do. She didn't. And you know why? Because she's lived a whole freaking life as a woman, and she's never been in the situation where she's actually had to get into the driving seat and make something happen. She's just never done it. Is what it is. But anyway, thank you for watching. If you like this video, like the video, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Subscribe, because I'm doing more of these. I quite like these reaction videos. I believe I will do more in future. Take care, au revoir, 𝗔𝗪𝗍, sayonara, and goodbye.